State of New California. Notice to all Californians. Grievance 70. May 28, 2019. New California is a new state in development exercising its constitutional right to form from the state of California. The process to form New California is authorized and codified in Article 4, Sections 3 and 4 of the United States Constitution. Statement of intent. The citizens of New California have decided to remedy the abuse of power by the government of California by exercising their right to form a new state provided in the United States Constitution, Article 4, Sections 3 and Section 4. We are determined to live under a state government in the United States of America and under the Constitution of the United States. New California Declaration of Independence of January 15, 2018 states, whenever any form of government becomes destructive, it is the right of the people to alter and to abolish it and to institute new government. When a long train of abuses and acts to seize and hold the people's power without legal authority and pursuing invariably the same object that clearly demonstrates a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. The preamble of the New California State Constitution states, we, the representatives of the undersigned counties within the state of California, do acknowledge and humbly invoke the favor of Almighty God for continued civil and religious liberty to ourselves and our posterity. The First Amendment of the United States Constitution states, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. The counties of New California bring forward 95 grievances to be announced in public on Tuesday at 11 a.m. State of New California Grievance 70. Declaration of Grievance. Statement of Facts. The people of California are suffering from a tyrannical state government which fails to provide a Republican form of governance, enables and supports across its southern border the invasion of the United States of America by illegal foreign nationals, and protects vicious criminals who commit outrageous acts of violence upon the citizens of America, all caused by a government of and for a monoparty system led by a tyrannical dictator who openly defies federal law. California state government is in direct violation of the following. The United States Constitution, Article 4, Section 4. The United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government, and shall protect each of them against invasion and on application of the legislature or of the executive when the legislature cannot be convened against domestic violence. And United States Constitution, Article 6, Section 2. This Constitution and the laws of the United States which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby, anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding. Murder by California government is the order of the day. The pro-globalist elected officials of California, in full support of the goals of United Nations Agenda 21, United Nations 2030 Agenda, and the man-made climate change fallacy, all of which call for a significant reduction in the size of the population of this planet. In keeping with these goals, socialist state officials support the replacement of populations who chose sovereign independence with cultures and populations who are submissive and subservient to a global governance model while supporting an increasingly aggressive pro-eugenics, pro-infanticide assault on life and the constitutional rights of United States citizens living in California. California's socialist elected officials actively support a thinly veiled eugenics program whose stated goals have been the reduction of the Black American population, the normalization of abortions including late-term abortions, and whose lucrative side industry is the sale of aborted fetal tissue, body parts, and brains for profit. California's socialist elected officials actively support the normalization of abortions as a method of birth control. California values disguise the attack on women and on life as a women's right to choose. California's socialist elected officials take the view that late-term abortions, designated to be the exception and are rare, should be neither the exception nor rare. Indeed, they support the progressively anti-child definition of abortion to include post-birth infanticide. California's socialist elected officials fail to equate the value of life of a child snuffed out in the murder of its mother punishably a double murder with the infanticide of a late or post-term abortion. They fail to acknowledge the contradiction of life-saving intervention for premature infants in incubators with the life-ending procedures of late-term, partial birth, and post-term abortion. California's socialist elected officials have inculcated within California's educational indoctrination system a surrender of the values that were based upon respect for the sovereignty and the spiritual essence of nature, nature's God, and human life. California's socialist elected officials have inculcated within California's educational system a self-hatred of United States citizens, paired with a guilt-driven surrender of individual sovereign rights, surrender of ancient cultural ideals that led to constitutional guarantees of those natural rights, and ultimately an ignorance of and willing surrender of representative forms of governance. California's socialist elected officials disingenuously claim to support abortion as a woman's right to choose while supplanting rights with the cognitive dissonance and the guilt of disavowing and destroying the sacred life within her womb. California's socialist elected officials disingenuously claim to support abortion, including late-term and post-birth abortion as a woman's constitutional right, totally subverting the intent and the meaning of the Constitution in efforts to make it a living document, sedulously and treasonously devising a so-called living document to serve as a vehicle of murder. Article 4, Section 4 states that the United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion and on application of the legislature or of the executive when the legislature cannot be convened against domestic violence. In the words of the Declaration of Independence, governments derive their just powers from the consent of the governed. Without that consent, governments are tyrannies, unjustly handing out penalties or sweetheart deals within the stolen power they have seized by force or manipulation, and that brings us to California. Obedience to the rogue government of California is disobedience to the United States Constitution. Insurrection. The government of California, the current socialist governor, and the mono-party system, along with local officials, are following a coordinated design with the intent to actively engage in acts of insurrection against the U.S. Constitution. The Insurrection Act of 1807 is a United States federal law that governs the ability of the President of the United States to deploy military troops within the United States to put down lawlessness, insurrection, and rebellion. Acts of secession. Therefore, the California government, in conjunction with the socialist state executive, instituted wherever the current socialist governor has usurped power, has created a reign of terror on United States citizens living in California with the intent to secede from the United States of America and thus destroy the very union of states which secures our liberty and freedom. Abdication of authority. Betrayal by the sitting socialist governor of California, the mono-party legislature, and local elected officials is evidence of abdication of the responsibilities of authority and sovereignty over the state and citizens of the United States living in California. The citizens of New California State pray for the President to exercise his authority under the Insurrection Act of 1807 to end the tyranny being foisted upon the United States citizens living in California State. This concludes these proceedings. For more information and to donate, please visit us at www.newcaliforniaoc.org.